Wizards down in Orlando looking for a win to help them take the trek towards the play-in situation at this postseason, taking on the Orlando Magic down in Orlando. You had 4 Wizards players in double figures in the starting lineup, along with Denny Avdia giving you 15 off the bench. Kristaps Porzingis, first game back after dealing with a non-COVID illness, 30 points, but albeit not enough. Washington falls by 10 to the Orlando Magic, 122-112. Jason Smith here with me. Chris, Drew, and Megan McPeak will be joining us momentarily. Jason, a lot at stake today. A lot at stake. Washington needed the win. Let's look at it from an X's and O's perspective first. What was the struggle for Washington tonight?
Well, I think they turned the ball over early in that first quarter. It was a really big struggle for them. But also, I think overall the game was just very uncoordinated, very mucky. Didn't have a clear sense of what the Wizards were trying to do. Were they trying to impose their will? Were they playing down to their competition? I think it was the latter of the two. They played down to the Magic. I think Mo Wagner came in and gave them some energy. I thought Cole Anthony did a great job of going out there. But this is a Magic team that plays a little bit chaotic, young players. They play with great energy, and I thought the Wizards got outworked today. Bradley Beal struggled shooting today, but Porzingis coming back off of the illness, you didn't know what kind of production he was going to put out there, but he had a great game, going out there giving you anything and everything that you possibly could. But in that fourth quarter, it just dried up. The Wizards could not score the ball, and I thought it hurt them at the end.
When you look at the absence of Kyle Kuzma in a game like this, out with knee soreness, we talked about this during the pregame. What was it going to look like with the tandem of Brad and KP without Kuz? Tonight, Brad gets in foul trouble. Something that we rarely see. Yeah. Bradley Beal fouled out with 3 minutes left to go in the game. What did you make of the type of night that he had tonight?
You know, I thought it was a little bit herky-jerky. He was a little bit more of a distributor tonight. His offense didn't quite get going out there. He was attacking the rim. He was getting to the free throw line. But overall, it was just a very big struggle. I thought we would see a little bit of a younger flashback Bradley Beal, especially with the haircut out there. But it just didn't seem to kind of get going until the end. He tried to get going in that fourth quarter, which he was being aggressive to the offensive end and getting to the rim. But it was just a little bit too little, too late. And
to your point, now, mind you, Brad was 8 for 10 from the charity stripe tonight.
Yeah.
Like, the Wizards did their job in that regard, getting to the paint. But we know about the 31% from shooting behind the arc tonight. I'm looking at guys who, are scoring upwards of 10, 12 points in the first half, but only getting 2 points in the second half. Those guys would be Daniel Gafford and Monte Morris. We've got to get more out of everybody. We, again, talked about this during pregame.
Yep.
It's not just about the guys at the top of the roster. We need everybody on board. And with that in mind, I want to bring in Chris and Drew and get their thoughts on it tonight, because as we talked about before, Jason, this is night one of another back-to-back for DC, coming back home tomorrow night. Chris and Drew, both of you, I'm trying to make sense of exactly what happened tonight. Obviously, Brad having a unique night, fouling out. You get no Kuzma. The turnover thing. Wizards didn't turn the ball over too much. Orlando had more than that. But, Drew, what say you about what you saw tonight?
What I talked about prior to the game when we were on the crossover, going back and forth, and the Drew's clues to victory, limiting the fouls, getting them to the free throw line, bailing an inexperienced young team out. You bailed them out tonight. And I thought about that playing down to the competition. Is this a trap game? Is this a trick game? Whatever they want to call it. But that wasn't the case, because I came in this. I knew what the assignment was. Me and you knew what the assignment was. We were scared of Orlando. We knew how well this team has been playing over the last 48 games. They're 25 and 23 over the last 48. And we talk about the numbers being battle-tested. Well, not just numbers, the records now are battle-tested. So if you're hanging around the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th seeds, maybe in the 13th, you could catch that fade any given night. I think all those teams are right neck and neck. Any given night, any of those teams can win, and that's where we are right now in this season. So this was not a trap game. I don't feel like the Wizards played down to the level of competition. I don't think they took advantage of the inexperience and the youthfulness of the Orlando Magic.
I just saw a young team that just got confidence as the game went on. And I saw in the fourth quarter, they couldn't miss. I mean, they were 12 of 16. They shot 75% in the fourth quarter. The Wizards were 9 for 21. But I will agree with what Jason said about Bradley Beal kind of having this weird game in terms of getting into foul trouble and not shooting the ball particularly well. But others really have to step up. And in the beginning of the game, Monte Morris, I thought, was terrific in that first quarter. I thought Denny Avdia in the second quarter was terrific. Both of them, I think they had 24 points between the two of them in the first half. They just needed to get more. And this Orlando Magic team, What are they playing for?
Right.
We know what they're playing for, but Jamal Mosley has these young players playing hard, and that has been an issue with the Wizards this season when they play teams that just play harder than them. And I thought they just played a little bit harder tonight and got the win.
But Mosley wants to show that he can win these games.
Sure.
They're not tanking anymore. And one prime example I know that Coach Mosley and this team wants to win. Brad had 5 fouls. He called 2 timeouts, came out of that timeout, went right at Brad to give him his 6th foul with a 7-point lead. That was the game.
Drew and Jason, both of you former players, obviously, and I'm coming to you first, Dix, and then to Drew. You talk about the intensity that a young Orlando Magic team has. Why not see that exact same thing mirrored on the Wizards side? Like, we're out of those games. You're kind of like, oh, I'll punt till, maybe next week, maybe another trip. They have to have that fire on a night-in, night-out basis, do they not, Jason?
Well, it has to go with that momentum thing that Chris and Drew talked about of going out there in their last 50 games. They're basically a 500 team down there with Orlando. You come back out of the All-Star break for the Wizards. They kind of had a slow start out of the All-Star break, but also within their last 3 games, they had to play really good teams in Cleveland and Sacramento. So I think that momentum kind of shifted. Plus, not having Kyle Kuzma out there kind of hurt them on the offensive end. But if you take it back to, hey, this is Orlando team that we beat early on in the season, they didn't have all their guys. Tonight, they had all their guys, and they showed that they're a dangerous team on any given night. That's why you can't really play records in the NBA. You have to go out there, realize what they're doing well in their past 10 games, 20 games, 30 games. If they're on a heater, as the Orlando Magic are, they're a young team that the coaches really preach to them, go out there and play hard. Yeah, you're going to make your mistakes and everything, but go out there and do your job by playing hard, and good things will happen for you.
Chris and Drew, they were down. The Wizards were down 4 at the half, and then you see they come out in the third quarter and they beat Orlando 32-27. But back to your point again, that fourth quarter went in Orlando's favor. Drew, what is it about the lack of consistency that this team needs to improve on, especially again, front night of a back-to-back, back home against Denver tomorrow night?
It's health. Every night, somebody's out, and it's one of the big 3. If it's not, Brad's been consistent, but Porzingis, Kuzma have been flipping-flopping as of late. There hasn't been any consistency, I would say, from a health standpoint with that big 3 the entire year. And that was my number 1 priority for this team, being healthy. Because with those 3 guys, you could do some damage. And give me a couple other guys in the mix with them having a good offensive game and getting some defensive stops. I feel like I could beat anybody in the NBA any given night. But you're rotating these guys. You only have 2 out of the 3 majority of these nights throughout the entire season, and it just came to hurt them once again tonight.
Washington is 4-10 since the All-Star break, so that's enough games to kind of look and see what's going wrong with this team. And I'll just say this as we get ready to go home and take on Denver tomorrow. Denver wants the number 1 seed. Some of those Nuggets players are watching us right now. We know who they are. I know Ish, you're in your hotel room watching. Hi, Ish. They remember when we played Denver at Denver, they had 98 paint points. So my key, I don't even have a Drew's clues or Christy's key. Chris's key tomorrow is you cannot give up 98 paint points to the Denver Nuggets.
Drew, you want to run your early Drew clues now or what?
Operation Jokic.
That's a smart guess right there.
Hey, that's only 1 key. That's all we need.
The master key. That's the one you're talking about. You got one too? Since we got it right here?
No, we'll save it for tomorrow. You got to wait for that one.
Okay. All right. We'll save it for tomorrow for Jason Smith. You guys enjoy safe travel back here. Drew, enjoy a little bit more of Florida. Then we need you back at work. All right, my brother?
Yes, sir.
All right, gentlemen, appreciate you. Sticks, you and I get to hang out a little bit right now and continue this conversation because, again, I'm not going to keep, belaboring the point about the stakes at hand. But I am going to talk about this Denver game tomorrow. They were saying it during the game. The Nuggets are already here in D.C.
Yes.
Hitting restaurants, getting all relaxed and everything. Strong, a tough loss tonight in Orlando. They got to hop on a plane and come back to D.C. Former player, former Wizard, you actually played for both of these franchises.
Yep.
What's the mind state right now in the locker room before you head off and you got to get on a plane to come back?
Well, the biggest thing is that the NBA gives you an opportunity any given night to go out there and play a game. And with the NBA, the Wizards had to play tonight. They have the Nuggets waiting here in D.C., waiting to play them. They've had a couple nights off. So they're getting acclimated. They're rested. You're coming off of a back-to-back to the number 1 team in the Western Conference. You have to get your mind right. You let an opportunity go by letting the Magic go out there and do their thing. You have to take what the Nuggets do well and use it against them. Jokic doesn't want to be in pick and rolls. He doesn't want to run the floor, but the Nuggets, as a whole know that if Jokic gets that rebound, he's slinging that thing full court with a one-handed pass.
Yeah.
You have to contain that board and try to contain Jokic. He's a back-to-back MVP for a reason. He's very efficient. He does things that not many NBA players do. He has great vision, he can score the basketball, and he gets everybody, and I mean everybody on his team involved. So it's going to be a tough task, but the Wizards have to go out there and put a good foot forward from the jump.
I need an aggressive foot, a heavy foot.
Yes.
Like, this is my house, and that those fans included. Everybody needs to be there. Yes, we're giving out a bobblehead tomorrow. I'll show you that a little bit later on. Yep. But we want the intensity ratcheted up to a 10 because at this point, nothing less. We got to get it done.
The fans are going to be there. We're going to be there.
That's what I'm saying, man. Let's turn the
rocking.
energy up. Let's get this thing going. Matter of fact, right now we got head coach Wes Hall Jr. at the post-game podium with his thoughts after this loss down in Orlando.